Let's see where I can slide.
Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The immaculate conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's claws, the birth of Nimrod, and not the son of God. To you was kind of odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai.
Hebrew Israelites, Kwam Yasha.
It's all about the Most High. It's all about
Shalom, brothers and sisters.
Shalom.
How's everybody doing?
Wow.
So, wow. Thank you for joining us. We are here live at ISBHBK, Houston, Texas, 770-71, 8524 South Braeswood, Houston, Texas, 770-71. If you are in the Houston metropolitan area, please feel free. Come on by. We got a seat for you. Class days are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday and Wednesdays from 7 to 9. Fridays from 6 to 9. I'm sorry. Monday and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Fridays from 6 to 9. Saturday morning Sabbath classes are held from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or whenever questions are over. All right. If you're out in San Antonio or you're in the Albuquerque area, feel free to hit us up and we can let you know the class locations as well as days. All right. A couple of announcements that we have this week. The Feast of Trumpets is going to be on the 8th. September the 8th is going to be the celebration of the Feast of Trumpets. And that's where we take place for a whole week of just good eating. It's beautiful, brothers and sisters coming together, doing all that good stuff. The brothers in Houston, Texas have an oil business at First Colony Mall. All right, the address is 16535 Southwest Freeway, Sugar Land, Texas. Inside, located in front of Victoria's Secret. We got your latest fragrances for men, women, and your natural fragrances. So your latest men and women fragrances like Mark, what is it? Midnight Shimmer.
It's fragrant, but it's fragrant oils, soaps, bath bombs.
All of that.
What we got next?
All of that good stuff. Kids class. We also have kids class every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. All right, you can watch previous recorded classes on the YouTube channel of ISBHPK channel, ISBHPK Kids channel. That's on YouTube. All right. You can watch our live classes on YouTube as well under ISBHPK. You please like, share, and always subscribe. Our ISBHPK cable show that's going to be going on this season. We're gonna with our local Comcast channel 17 or stream at live hmstv.org.
But we're gonna be in the next hopefully couple of hours. We're gonna be posting our first show on YouTube. So maybe by tomorrow. It's a good one. We're just getting it edited, getting it cleaned up, and we're gonna put it out there. Then we're gonna record our next show on Thursday. So the first show is about the 9.5 tribes, or excuse me, it's about Issachar. Then the next show we're gonna go in depth about birthdays. So a lot of meaty class, and then I think the next one we're gonna do is about marriages. So 3 good classes lined up. You know, brothers and sisters have been asking for us to answer these questions on these topics. So we decided to just take the long route and bring out all the info, all the books. That way y'all can be properly edified and have all the scriptures and all the understanding behind the 9.5 or the tribe of Issachar, birthdays, marriages, and we got a few other topics. So, Yep.
We also have Blog Talk Radio Show. It's blogtalk.com/Mashaba, MASHAHBA, and that's every Monday through Friday at 9:30 p.m. or 9:30 a.m. I'm sorry. You definitely want to get up in the morning and start your morning off with the Blog Talk Radio. We also have Israelware, and they're taking orders, and that's on Facebook at Israelware. If you have any questions pertaining to topic or off the topic, preferably on the topic since class is right now, but you can hit up Priest Quatiza to my right, and his number is 303-557-8979. All right. If you don't want to text your questions to him, if you just want to, you could send it at the bottom of the live link under YouTube, or you can email your questions at isbhbk@isbhbk.org. Right. Any monetary donations are always acceptable. We're going to hit you with the account number down at the bottom, as well as the Wells Fargo Google Wallet as well. So, but if you have books, pens, papers, pencils, old encyclopedias, old dictionaries, please bring them, drop them off, you know what I mean, or send them out. They'll always be put to good use. And with that, we want to start the first hour off with questions, like we always do.
Any questions in class? We got one online.
You want me to read it?
Yeah. Well, it's Psalm 72 and 4. You said you wanted understanding on Psalm 72 and 4. Somebody take that. Psalm 72 and verse 4.
Psalm chapter 72, verse 4. He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy, and shall break in pieces the oppressors.
Right. So, I mean, it's it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's talking about Yahweh Shai coming back, judging, and breaking apart our oppressor. I mean, who else is going to do it? Watch. Go to Isaiah 11 and verse 4 real quick. Actually, yeah, go there. Go to jump down to verse 12.
Come on, verse 12. Behold, these are the
No,
ungodly.
72 and verse 12.
Oh, slop. Verse 12. For he shall deliver the needy when he crieth.
Right.
The poor also, and him that hath no helper.
Go ahead.
Verse 13. He shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save
Because,
the souls.
think about it. Who does this world care about the poor and needy? Because if they did, there wouldn't be homeless. There wouldn't be people starving, hungry. So, I mean, that's going to go on until Christ comes, right? But who is the poor and needy? It's Israel. Because what do we need? We need that Savior, right? When you go to Matthew 1, watch. When you go to Matthew chapter 1, show you something real quick. Go to Matthew chapter 1 and verse. We got to see that it was prophesied. The whole purpose of Christ was to save his people, right? Go to Matthew. Is it 21? Yeah. Yeah.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 21.
Go ahead.
And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahweh Shai.
Come on.
For he shall save his people from their sins.
That was the whole thing, that he was going to save us. That's one thing we got to remember. Yahweh Shai was sent to save us. Now, we know the first time he came, he saved us by teaching, right? Now we know the second time around, what is he going to do?
Slicing and dicing.
Slicing, dicing, trampling, pressing cats out like grapes, right? Folding them up like garments, right? Brothers love those scriptures. He's going to be folding them up like garments. The scriptures say he's going to be stomping them like at the wine press. But we're the poor, needy, and afflicted. He says in Revelation, go there real quick, Revelation chapter 1. It's Revelation chapter 2, actually. 2 and verse, damn, I know that works. Oh, 2 and verse, huh?
209.
Right, Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9.
Come on. Revelation chapter 2 verse 9.
Come on.
I know thy works.
I know thy what?
Thy works.
Come on.
And tribulation.
Uh-huh.
And poverty.
Right. Who's the ones going through tribulation and poverty? Remember, the other nations don't count. When you talk about, oh, they poor over there in Bangladesh, or they poor over there in Somalia, who cares? Y'all wish I ain't come back to save the Somalians, unless there's an Israelite that's in Somalia thinking that he's a Somalian, or an Israelite in Bangladesh thinking that he's a Bangladeshi, right? But he says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. Because why? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are in poverty. You think those Native Indians are living it up on the reservations? Hell nah, bro. They wake up, all you do is get drunk, gamble, violent crime all through the reservations, and they just do it all over again. It's one of the worst places to live. Think about who's in the ghettos and the slums. So we talk about those poor people, that's us, that's Israel. Because ain't nobody looking out for the man on the totem pole, on the bottom of the totem pole. Who's looking out for the poor and needy? Nobody. This world is either you rich or you're poor. There ain't no middle class, like they lie to you and tell you. There ain't no middle class. Right. Either you broke as hell, barely getting by, or you got money. You live in paycheck to paycheck or you're not. That's it. So if you live in paycheck to paycheck, you ain't really doing too much. It's a struggle. Go ahead, read on.
But thou art rich.
But thou art rich. Why? Because we got the Spirit. We got the Spirit. We got the Word that's going to make us rich. The wisdom makes us rich. Jump back to Psalm 72 and verse 13. Read verse 13.
He shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save the souls of the needy. He shall redeem their soul from deceit.
He shall do what?
Redeem their soul from deceit.
Go ahead.
And violence. And precious.
Because think about it. We've been deceived. We've been deceived our whole generations. Ever since we went to the first captivity, we've been just being deceived and deceived and deceived. We've been in captivity so long, we don't even know who the hell we are. So this word was sent first and foremost to wake us up. And then once we get woke up and the 144,000 are sealed, Yahweh Shai is coming back to rip through this filthy, abominable nation, this filthy, abominable country, this homosexually, drug-ridden, pansexual, hermaphrodite infested country. Ain't nobody looking out for the poor man. You gotta really look at it, man. When you poor and broke, what does that keep you? It keeps you in a humble. It should keep you in a humble mind, and you're in humble. They call it humble beginnings. So a lot of times when you broke as hell, man, you ain't got really nothing to be prideful about. But the Most High said He hates a broke man that's prideful, because you got those. You broke as hell, and you got the nerve to act prideful. It don't make sense. Turn my volume. That don't make sense. So that's why the scriptures say the meek shall inherit the earth. A lot of that is going to be broke Israelites that they didn't have nothing to boast about anyway. Read on.
And precious shall their blood be in His sight.
Where you at?
Verse 14, second precept.
Read verse 13 again.
He shall spare the poor and needy.
You see that? Go ahead.
And shall save the souls of the needy.
Right. Thou art poor. I know the tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. See, this is the treasure. When Yahushua comes, boom, twinkles you, gives you that new body, that new mind, put that law in your inwards, takes you up on those chariots. Come on. Read on.
God, verse 14. He shall redeem their souls from deceit and violence. And precious shall their blood be in his sight.
Go ahead.
And he shall live, and to him shall be given of the gold of Shabbat.
That's
prayer.
It. That's it on that. Go to jump back to Psalm 72 and verse 4.
Verse 4. He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy.
Go ahead.
And shall break in pieces the oppressor.
Yeah. I mean, we can't break apart our oppressors. You ain't got the, for one, you don't got the spirit. We don't got the spirit on us to do it. We don't have the spirit to fight back because we, first of all, don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to unify. We don't know how to be wrong. We don't know how to take low. Like, it's like there's too many Indians or too many chiefs and not enough Indians. When it comes to Israel, like there's so many things wrong with us. That's why Yahushua got to come through and say, let me do this. Let me do this. Go to Psalms 94 and verse 5. Psalms 94 and verse 5.
Psalms chapter 94, verse 5. They break in pieces thy people, O Lord.
That's not it. I'm sorry, wrong one. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Go to this is what I want. Hold on. Give me the one where it says no one with me. It's in I want to say it's Isaiah. It's talking about Yahushua smashing the nations, and they said there was no one with me. It's like Isaiah 40.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I just read that earlier today.
Yeah. There's one that I'm looking for. Isaiah,
I can't remember where it was though.
yeah, but and we'll get it. But the scriptures, there's a scripture that Yahushua said there was no one with him, but he was going through and destroying the nations and breaking them up. And there's plenty of scriptures that you can read in Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, but I want to find that one. Yeah, but that's what that's talking about. I mean, who else is gonna destroy our oppressors, man? We can't do it. We can't even unify. We can't even organize. We don't even got no military war tactics. We think could we call on modern warfare? Could we good at modern warfare 1, 2 Black Ops that we could really do something? Nah. It takes more than just know how to maneuver on a video game. But the enemy, our oppressor, is strong. That's the point. Where you come with your little rusty revolver, and they got a shiny 45. And you might get the nice little 45 Desert Eagle, right? And where do they come? They come with the semi-automatic, the AK. You know, no matter what you come with, our oppressor, Esau, and all these other nations, they got bigger guns, man. So Yahushua has to be the one to come through and destroy our oppressor and weaken them. And then, yeah, we're going to get a little peace. We definitely going to get a little peace. You find it?
I'm looking right now.
Got it. Let me find that. I want to find that because it's a good one. Let me find this one for you real quick.
I believe it's Isaiah Isaiah 63.
That's what it is, 63 and 5. And Kazak just texted to me. Yep.
Isaiah
chapter 63.
Chapter 63, verse 5.
I was just here. Yeah, go ahead. Where you at?
Isaiah chapter 63, verse 5.
No, let's see here. Read verse 63 and verse 1.
God, who is this that cometh from Edom with thy garments from Bozar? This that is glorious in his apparel.
Go ahead.
Traveling in the greatness of his strength.
Yeah, it's talking about, well, we know who it's talking about. Watch, read.
I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
Yeah, who's going to save us? It's Yahweh Shai. Come on.
Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garment like him that treadeth in the wine fat.
This is what's going to happen to our oppressor. He said his garments are going to be red like wine. Why? It's going to be all that bloodshed. Like he tread the wine fat. You ever see them press wine? Where they put all the grapes and they just walk in a circle and stomp the wine out and it comes out?
Good.
Yeah, read on.
I have tried the wine press alone.
He did what?
I have tried the wine press alone.
Yeah, Yahweh Shai said, I'm going to do this alone. Right? He going to come through and destroy him. Not fully, but he going to put him to the point where we can get a little bar. Go ahead.
And of the people that was none with me.
Come on.
For I will tread them in mine anger.
Read.
And trample them in my fury.
And
their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments. And I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is mine, is in my heart. And the year...
Right, because the Most High, Christ said, vengeance, he said, vengeance is mine. Right? He said, avenge not yourselves, but vengeance is mine. Go ahead.
Come. And in the year of my redeemed is come.
Come on, read verse 5.
And I looked, and there was none to help.
There was what?
And I looked, and there was none to help.
Yeah, so we know that Yahweh Shai is going to go through and stomp out these nations, right? He's going to break apart the oppression, redeem the poor, the humble, the meek, the chosen, the 144,000 that didn't then, that didn't give into this world, that didn't bow the knee, that didn't bend the knee, right? Like when you read in Ezekiel, 9, right? When you read in Ezekiel 9:24, right? It said they cried and they sighed for the abominations. So once that happens, then yeah, he's gonna come through and this is what he's gonna do. So when we go back to that Psalms, go back there. Psalm 72 and 4.
So, chapter 72 and verse 4.
Right, go ahead and read it.
He shall judge the poor of the people.
Right, when you go to Isaiah 11 and 4 real quick. Just a few precepts. Just on this
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 4.
Go ahead.
But with righteousness shall he judge the poor.
Well, he shall judge who?
The poor.
Right. See, with righteousness, he's going to judge the poor because are the poor being judged with righteousness right now? Think about it. What do they tell the poor to do? They keep them poor. They don't give the poor man any way out. Because what do? They tax them heavy, right? They don't give them any tax. There's no tax breaks for the poor. The rich get the tax breaks here in America. It's funny, I was looking at something popped up. I was like scrolling Facebook earlier today. And you know how those little pages pop up where it's like the 10 best sports card, and you look at one, it says hit next, slideshow. This was showing like the 20 best places to live in retirement outside of America. And I was like, damn, you go live in Belize for like $1,000 a month. You go live in, they said like Uruguay, $1,000 a month, dude, and it's better than living in America. You got healthcare, you got all that. Chile, Uruguay, Bolivia, all these different places. Why? Because they got things set up for people that don't have a lot of money. America's like, you poor, tough luck. We're gonna keep taking from you as if you got it. We're gonna keep taking and keep taking and keep taking and keep oppressing you, keep giving you the bad. Think about it, man. You slide through this little stretch of Braeswood, and you can just see the poverty. As soon as you get past the little pole right here, it just get nice. Yeah, it just turned into heaven. Right? They got all the nice stores. They got the nice grocery store. Right. Ain't a lot of fast food that way. Right? But it's nothing but fast food and junk going back this way. And hoes and, yeah, hoes and pimps and drugs. But you cross right over, man. I'm looking right at it. I'm looking at the crossover, the State Farm sign. Yeah, right. You cross that State Farm sign, it's like you in a whole different world. I was like, damn. You don't even make no, they don't even try to hide it. They like, yeah, you on a whole different side of the earth. But you can see the poor being oppressed just by the type of structures they have them living in. And yeah, they try to make it look good. They try to fix it up, throw a palm tree in the front, a new palm tree or two, try to paint the stucco, a nice little, summery color. But that don't mean a damn thing when somebody's peddling drugs right in front of you. I mean, come on, a cat just got shot, not just. It was within the last 6 months, a bro got shot right down the street. So and I remember there was another story of a man getting beat up. Some dude went crazy and beat a guy up right here on the sidewalk. Just beat him bloody. But that's what's going on in the poor people's neighborhoods, man. There's a lot of drugs and cripping and blood, going on where you go down, there's nothing but nice houses but why? Who lives there? You know who lives there? The ones that steal your identity. Them fake Jews. Right? They stole your identity, and guess what? They stole everything that went along with it. Trying to steal the blessings. They try to make sure but the thing is, they're not fitting any of the curses. So who has to be redeemed? At the end of the day, who got to be redeemed from these curses, man? It's us. We can do our part. We're doing our part to redeem ourselves to a level. Yahweh Shadow got to come back and tell me to stop eating pork and not to bang my brother's wife. Yahweh Shadow got to show up for me to do that. Right. But there's little things in us that Yahweh Shai gotta give you the twink. He gotta give you that change. But it's up to us for now, and then when he comes, he's gonna fight for us. That's right. He's gonna fight for the poor and needy, and in doing that, our oppressor is gonna be destroyed, like we read in Isaiah 63. Let's see here. So hopefully that answers that.
Question.
What's the question? So we got a question offline?
Yeah, it's offline.
Okay, it's gonna be long. I want you to go into your class in 15 minutes. Okay.
Being judged.
So we're gonna probably take this question, and then we're gonna try to start. We got a good class on lying. We're gonna start that at 8. Okay, so go ahead.
Being judged by the Most High for masturbating and using toys.
Wait, is that a question or a statement?
Yeah.
Am I being judged?
Well, will you be judged by the Most High for masturbating and using sex toys?
Absolutely. Because, you got something written down over here? Or
Absolutely.
What you got? Let's go. Let's hit it real quick. Absolutely. And the reason why I'm saying yes, you got to ask yourself, why does one masturbate? Why does one masturbate, and what is in your mind when you get that spirit on you? Well, for one, it's a spirit of lust. It's a spirit of lust, so no control, right? The scriptures say if you burn, marry. It didn't say if you burn, go squeeze one off or go use sex toys. You gotta really look at. You gotta look at like sex toys that they give to women. Usually women, they go to the sex toy. Why? Because they don't want to deal with men. They don't want to deal with a man. They want to be the independent woman. So they figure if I could replace even a man's member, if I could replace that, and I could replace that urge and compile it into a battery-operated boyfriend,
Bob.
I don't need no man. So you got to see the agenda behind it. It's like, it's no different than, you know, they gave you food stamps. Then they might have gave you food stamps, and in the cereal box, they gave you the toys that you used to, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all an agenda to keep you away from having a man. It's all an agenda to keep you independent. So, yeah, the Most High is looking at that. What you got? I mean, you wrote a bunch of stuff down, so where you want to go?
We can start at basically Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 14. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 14.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
And blessed is the eunuch, which with his hands had wrought no iniquity.
Because what would this man be bringing? What kind of iniquity would he be bringing with his hands? Working on himself, right?
Oh yeah.
The scripture says, "Blessed is this man, is this eunuch, this man who's trying to keep himself pure, who doesn't defile his temple."
And you know what? What I want to do, that's a good one. I want to pause that real fast and just hop back. What is it that? Why does a person get into that masturbation demon? It's lust, but what else?
Separation from your real or your husband. Because once you
Well, that don't make you have to go masturbate.
No, but it's like once you've been married,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And then you go back to that solitude. You know, those urges are there.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna speak for myself. There was a time I separated from my rib for a year and I didn't masturbate not once. I went the whole year. Now, am I more powerful than any other man?
I'm strong.
Am I more powerful? And I actually did that twice in life. When I remember I was in my 20s, like probably 24, and I was like, I ain't gonna deal with nothing for a year. I didn't deal with nothing for a year, and I was hanging out with chicks, and I didn't do anything, no masturbation, nothing. And then, you know, later on in life, you know, you deal with relationships, and you know, every relationship ain't perfect, and there's things you gotta do to salvage, right? So me and my rib decided, okay, we're gonna separate for that whole year. I didn't deal with anything. No masturbation, no nothing. What did I do? Watch. What I did was this. I made sure my mind wasn't idle.
Fast.
I got a question.
I was fasting also.
Quick.
What was up?
Hey, exactly. I was gonna say you had knowledge too, though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That makes it. That makes it the more.
This is actually before I got back to Houston.
Right.
Yeah. So this was like a couple years ago. Yeah, it makes it easier, but it don't make it easy. It still don't make it easier. Having the knowledge, but having the knowledge to do something, not let your mind go idle.
Right.
Watch. Go to I didn't mean to pause you, but go to Ecclesiastes 32 and verse 27. Excuse me. Ecclesiastes 12 and 3.
Good.
Wait, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, go to 12 and 3. Ecclesiastes 12 and 3.
In the Bible.
In the Apocrypha. Ecclesiastes. I'm sorry.
Ecclesiastes.
Chapter
12 and verse 3.
Come on.
There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
Right. Now, why did I go here? Now, go to Ecclesiastes 33 and verse 27. Ecclesiastes 33 and verse 27. See, where does the evil come from? See, when the masturbation and sex toys, that's evil. But where does it come from? Read.
Ecclesiastes chapter 33, verse 27.
Send
him to labor.
Send him to what?
To labor.
Go ahead.
That he be not idle.
Go ahead.
For idleness teacheth much evil.
Idleness does what?
Teacheth much evil.
Right. So now we come back and it says, read where you at, Jeremiah.
Good.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
Right. Ain't no good gonna come but the thoughts of lust and sex and I gotta hit this and split that. Everything you look at, all of a sudden your mind goes right into I'm gonna dwell on that. See, but where should your mind be? Go to Ecclesiastes 39 and verse 1. Ecclesiastes 39 and verse 1.
Ecclesiastes chapter 39 and verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High.
Your mind should be where?
Of the law, to the law of the Most High.
Right, and nowhere in the law does it say masturbate. Nowhere in the law, and this is the thing, we know it doesn't say not to masturbate, right?
Good.
I want to throw that out there. But where does masturbation come from? First of all, a lot of times, or most of the time, you're masturbating to what? Pornography or some images in your head. The spank, what they call it, the spank bank? Right. What's up?
And see, I put it that way because what I used to do was, like, when I did do it, because I'm not going to tell no tale, but I would imagine, like, my rib or something, like if we were separated, would that still be considered a sin?
What is lust
for a minute?
What is lust? Well, this is the thing. It's still a form of some type of lust, where, again, the scriptures say if you burn, to marry. Right now, if you're separated, now there's obviously instances of why you're separated. Right now, obviously, a man and a woman can separate by consent and say we're not gonna deal with each other. But if you're doing that, there's a reason, there's something going on in the relationship. So we know through the wisdom, okay, if I got a problem with my relationship and we separate, we're going to be both fasting and praying, right? So I don't have time to masturbate. If I'm fasting, sex shouldn't even be on your mind, because you're taking yourself out of that whole realm. Sex, the thought of it, you're trying to fast to repair your relationship. So, you know, you don't want to take your mind to, like, now I'm just going to sit there and imagine. I mean, the scripture says it. Where should our meditation be? Right. There's a time and place for everything, right? Now, if my rib ain't around, that don't mean I got to sit there and meditate on her sexually, because all that's going to do is just cause you to fall into that demon, that lust. It's lust. At the end of the day, it's a lust spirit. You know, it's a spirit. And then you get where you be in the bed sleep and you're passed out, and then you feel something jump on top of you, and it's the demon that succubus demon holding you down. You wake up and you soiled yourself, right? Because that's a strong lust spirit. But they all go hand in hand. Now, if I'm meditating in the law, what am I meditating on? If I got a problem with my rib, I'm meditating on how do I get the issue with her fixed, or you know, it don't got to be a problem with the rib. How do I keep my relationship good? You know, why do I have to turn to if I do have a partner, why do I have to turn to masturbation? Well, is my partner not satisfying me? Then we got to talk. We need to communicate and figure out what the hell's going on.
Like, even before I was in the truth, and even as like a young kid, before I even knew what sex was, right? Like, I was always a very sensual person, and I would find myself doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So even before I even knew what sex was, like, I would naturally just, I would do it. I would do that.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I was young, I did it. When I was like 8, 7, 8, 9, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Right. So,
but that's the thing where, see, the problem was there was nobody here to guide your mind and keep your mind occupied in something righteous. Right. Same thing with me. I wasn't occupied in anything.
Right, but the crazy thing, my grandfather, I feel like he was who planted the seed, because like he would actually sit us down, you know, cut off all TVs and no radio, no nothing, and would read the scriptures to us.
Right.
Now, I'm not gonna say if it was the truth or not, because I was very young, so I don't know then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he would actually do that. But
right.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. That was the whole purpose. That was the whole thing about our custom. We didn't wait till you were 12 to start teaching you. You didn't get taught the laws of the Most High when you were 12 years old. Like, okay, you're 12, let me sit you down. Right. Listen, you were being taught from birth, from infancy. That way when you got 12, you knew what to do. It wasn't like, oh, you're 12, now start, ready, set, go. It was, no, we're going to start from infancy. From the day a child was born, what happened? 8 days later, circumcised. So he automatically fell into the law. Right? We automatically taught our kids the law just even through the carnal things. Circumcise his flesh. All the rituals and things that I don't want to say rituals, excuse me. All the feast days and things that we did. You say rituals, they be like, wait a minute, witchcraft. Right?
All the oral tradition.
All the tradition, but even like the sacrificing and all that stuff. You know, all the things that we did were visual. A lot of the things that we did were visual, so our children were able to see that from birth growing up. So by the time they turned 12, a man was a man at 12. So you didn't wait till he was 12 to say, here, son, here's the law. It says when you raise up, when you Deuteronomy 6 and verse 6, it said you should meditate, and when you go to bed, you talk about the law in your house. When you lay us down, when you rise us up, when you walk us by the way, you write them on your posts. So they were there for all to see. So we were teaching our children early. So our problem is, all our problems is at an early age, we didn't get no wisdom. So guess what happened? We went through our 20s, garbage. We went through our teens, garbage as hell, thinking that, yeah, masturbation was just something that you do. They teach that in school, like, yeah, masturbate. It's a part of abstinence. No, it's not. That's not abstinence. That's just a side way out. Because it causes you to keep that demon on you of curiosity. Like, well, damn, okay, I just jacked off, and now I feel good, or I feel loose, or however you feel. But now I want to feel the real thing. That's why cats start hitting at early ages. That's why I was having sex early. I'm like, this masturbation thing ain't gonna cut it, right? So I'm trying to seek out at a young age. I was very. Listen, at a young age, man, I was very, very in there. And it's because nobody was teaching me nothing at the end of the day. Read on where we at.
Good. And is occupied in the meditation thereof.
In the what?
The meditation thereof.
Come on.
We'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancients.
And that's the point. Like, bro, there's so much wisdom in here. You can't, there's not enough seeking that you can do. If you get bored, flip the chapter. You get bored again, flip the chapter. If that's the problem with, I get bored when I read the Bible. There's so much seeking out that we can do, and so many things that we can look at in the scriptures and in the wisdom. It's first of all, you can never seek too much until the point where you found everything. Right. So you got to occupy yourself in the wisdom. Go ahead.
And be occupied in prophecy.
Go ahead.
He will keep the sayings of the renowned.
He will do what?
Keep the sayings of the renowned men.
He'll masturbate.
Keep the sayings of the renowned men.
She'll go and just play with the sex toy.
Keep the sayings of the renowned men.
Yeah, that's what it was about, was keeping the sayings. Not using your hands to commit evil. Yeah, I mean, for you women out there with the sex toys, the sad part is when you got a man and you got a sex toy. You need to reevaluate your relationship and talk to your husband and figure out what's going on in that aspect of the relationship. It's important. The physical aspect, that the sex part of a relationship is important. Good. So again, you know, why do a lot of men have to masturbate when they got women? Because their women are demons and try to hold out on them and try to use sex. I'm gonna use sex as a weapon against you. 1 Corinthians says if you deprive one another, it gotta be for a time and for a consent. Good. If you're gonna withdraw sex, it gotta be for consent. Watch. Go there real quick. Go to 1 Corinthians 7 and 1 and verse 7. 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 3. Watch it. No, watch this. I want you to read verse 2.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 3.
I want you to read verse 2.
Verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every
He's
man...
talking about sexual fornication, right?
Good.
Go ahead.
Let every man have his own wife.
Have his own what?
His own wife.
Why? What was the purpose? To fulfill those sexual desires. That was the purpose. Not that you had to go masturbate somewhere. And if the wife to be pleased also. So she didn't have to go run to the The BOB, the battery operated boyfriend. The whole purpose was to deal with a human. To deal with your husband, deal with your wife. Watch, read on.
And let every woman have her own husband.
Right. To avoid any sexual fornication. It wasn't just talking about you going and a woman going sleeping with another man, or a man going to deal with another married woman. This was talking about all that sexual fornication. Prevent you from going and banging a dog. All that. What's up?
It's kind of off the subject.
Well, let's stay on the subject real quick. Let's stay on the subject and let me just knock this out. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Verse 3.
Verse 3, Slop. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence.
Due benevolence. Render due benevolence. Meaning there's an equality here where we talked about this the other day, where I'm not using sex as a weapon to try to keep you in line. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put him in the doghouse. Or your husband says something you don't like, you ain't getting none tonight. Like, stop it. Stop it, because all you're doing now, if you watch certain TV shows and they joke about like a man going to the doghouse, what's his remedy? He got to go masturbate. Or go hit the strip club, or go find some other chick, and then what are you causing him to do? You're causing him to sin. Same thing with a woman, with a man. You're trying to hold out from your wife, like, yeah, I'm going to get her in line. I'm going to just cut her off. She ain't getting this rod of correction. Right? When you do that, and what does she do? She's like, well, I'm going to get it somewhere else. What you won't do, somebody else will. I got something else lined up. I'm going to get my little toy. All you hear in the bathroom is sound like a pair of clippers. You know she ain't in there cutting her damn hair. Right? So we got to be careful what we do to our, if you have and I'm saying this as if there's partners involved in husband and wife. That's just one aspect. We got to be careful, man, because, watch, read on.
And likewise also the wife unto the husband.
Come on, read verse 5.
Defraud ye not one the other, except it be for a consent for a time.
Right, look up the fraud. And we went, what's that?
Do you want me to block the person?
What are they talking about? I want to see what they're saying before you block them. They talking about filth. What are they talking about?
He's been here before, I think it was a Sabbath or last week.
Oh, who is this?
The one with the white Jesus.
Oh, he's just, damn, he got a lot to say.
What I'm saying? What I'm saying?
I'm saying a lot, because my damn,
Just
all of them, wow. Well, there's a few, what is this, writ? God probably made sure to convince you later in history that, no, you are not. Yeah, you could delete him. You could actually block him. You could block this person.
you want to do benevolence?
No, not benevolence, the fraud.
It only has the option to put him in timeout.
Put him in timeout. I don't know why we can't block this idiot. Yeah, y'all ain't gotta go back and forth with him online, man. Come on, don't let him fall into, don't fall into the trap. The scriptures say in Romans 14:1, receive him that is weak in the faith, but not to doubtful disputations. So you don't want to go back and forth with these idiots that come on here trying to act like they know something. What you got?
Deprive. To deprive the right, either by obtaining something by deception or...
It says by what?
To deprive the right, either by obtaining something by deception or artifice.
Go ahead.
Or by taking something wrongfully, without the knowledge or consent.
It says by taking something wrongfully or holding back something wrongfully. Defraud ye not one another. So we're not supposed to, husband and wife, defraud one another, because you're going to cause each other, it's going to tell us, watch. Read on. Defraud ye not one another. Go ahead.
Except it be with a consent for a time. That ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer.
Come on.
And come together again.
Right.
And Satan tempt you not for your incontinence.
Incontinency. Look that word up.
Incontinence.
So I looked that word up. So masturbation, it comes from being idle. It comes from not occupying your mind in the wisdom. It can also come from your partner not understanding 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 1. If you have a partner and they're doing this, they're defrauding you, they can, and listen, everybody got their own willpower. But the problem is, we always look for the next best thing. We always say, well, you ain't gonna give it to me, I'm gonna find something else. I'm gonna find something else. So, masturbation is not that something else. Yeah, the Most High will judge for that because, again, wherever did we see masturbation in the scriptures? We know about the man, who was it that spilled his seed?
Judas' son.
Right, he spilled his seed, and what happened?
Most High killed him.
Most High killed him. Most High killed him. So, what was the seed meant to do? Bring forth babies, right? Be fruitful and multiply.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
When it was showing, like in the law, like when it was in the scriptures or whatnot, when a man seed of copulation came from him.
Yep.
When he was asleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much kind of like the same thing, even though he's not doing it with his hands, but it still happened. Well, it wasn't specific as if he did it with his hands,
right?
But he had to go without the camp.
Yeah, he was unclean.
Water,
uh-huh.
Right, and then come back at evening. So
right.
What is it in that case?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What is it?
Is it still considered the same thing?
Is it considered masturbation?
Yeah.
Well, nah. Think about it. When a man is having wet dreams, because that's what that is. That's what they call it. That's what we know it as. Usually, you're having a sexual dream.
Right.
So what is that? That's just lust on you.
Yeah.
That's lust. Especially if you've been going for a while without them demons start to attack. They can't get you in the day. They're gonna get you in your sleep. They're gonna get that subconscious. So it's not technically, you're not doing the act of masturbation, but yeah, your seed is coming from you. So I mean, the scriptures tell you what to do in that case. But even when your seed came from you during the sexual act, you were considered unclean. You had to wash with water and be unclean until the evening. So you were still unclean, but think about it. Again, when you're having those dreams, and you wake up and you're soiled, and you look back and say, "Dad, what was I dreaming about?" And it was like, "Oh yeah, I was dreaming that I was having sex." And usually that's what brings that forth. And it just be demons, man, spirits trying to attack, trying to weaken you, because there's something that you're not getting. Your flesh is not being appeased. Right. So the spirit's got to attack you. That's it. I mean, I've been there. I think we've all been there. Even who does it happen to a lot? Little boys. Right? A lot of little boys get that at first. Huh? Men locked up? Oh, yeah. A lot of brothers in jail probably get that. Because why? They've been without women for years. So all they can do is dream. All they can do is dream, but they got nothing but demons attacking them anyway. So yeah, hopefully that a little insight. Well, yeah, but God, we're gonna get into this class, We're gonna get into this class. What you got? What you got? Let's see what you got.
1 Corinthians 6:9.
Let's see what you got.
1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh?
So these are people who are using toys, who are masturbating, or trying to justify it, right? Thinking that it is okay, right? Go ahead.
Be not deceived.
So don't be deceived. Don't be like baffled, like, oh, I didn't know that. It's written right here in black and white. Go ahead.
Neither fornicators.
Read.
Nor idolaters.
Go ahead.
Nor adulterers. Nor effeminate.
Right, so we've always touched on those, right?
Stole my scripture.
God.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nor abusers of themselves
Nor
with
what?
mankind.
Nor what?
Abusers of themselves with mankind.
Nor abusers of themselves with mankind. So yeah, these people who are doing these things, you're touching yourself consistently, you're not going to inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Go ahead.
Again, what is your mind occupied with? Sex. I knew. Listen, I knew a chick, man. All she did, she said she masturbated like 4 times a day. I'm like, who got time for that? But the only thing that was on her mind, the only thing that's on her mind is sex, 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 and sex. I'm like, damn, you carnal as hell. I know another bro. He used to masturbate like 8 times a day. I'm like, what the hell? 8 times, bro? Like, really? All he would do was watch porn and think about sex. And he had a woman. I'm like, wow. She leave, he masturbate. He had sex with her, and she get up and go, he masturbate. I'm like, but there was that infatuation with oneself, I guess. It's that self-love of oneself that we talked about it. That's that narcissistic spirit. That's a form of narcissism. Hardcore. Go ahead.
Nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
Go ahead.
Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High.
Right. So these are the characteristics that will not get you into the kingdom. So from there, jump to 7 and verse 8.
Good. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 8. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I.
If Paul was talking about, because he dedicated himself to the Most High. He dedicated his life and his work and his actions and his body to the Most High. That was what he was occupied in. He was occupied solely in that, Ecclesiastes chapter 39 and verse 1. But he's saying, but if you can't abide as I do, go ahead.
But if they cannot contain.
If you can't contain, if you can't hold it within yourself, read.
Let them marry.
Masturbate.
Let them what?
Marry.
Masturbate.
Marry.
Use Bob?
Yeah.
Marry.
What is it, the rocket pocket?
Marry.
They got the...
Con.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's horrible.
And but a lot of people, when they see this scripture, though, they thinking like marriage and like have a ceremony and all that.
No, it's
marriage in this instance is sex.
Go find, right. But the thing is, it's not saying, see, you gotta understand, it's not saying like, just run out and hit the first thing you see. It's basically saying, go out there and actively, the right way, find a partner. It ain't saying like, go out there and just hit something, because that'd be bad too.
That'd be fornication.
You can't just go out there and hit something and I hit something and not deal with them. No, it's not saying that. He was basically saying you gotta know yourself. You gotta know yourself. If you know that, think about it. If I've been in a relationship 15 years, and let's say something happens to my rib, and she's gone, and I know that I need to be sexually active at least 3 times a week. Let's just throw out a number. I don't know. Right. I ain't there. Right? But 3 times a week. I know that in myself, right? So that means I know that I may be able to contain for a while. But I can't sit back and say, yeah, I'm gonna just be by myself forever. I know damn well I ain't gonna be able to contain. So that means I gotta start trying to prep something for the future. It's all the same, but he's not saying, because even when I first read this back in the day, I'm like, the Bible says you can't just go out and just have sex with everything. But then when you really put the understanding to it, he was basically saying you gotta know yourself. He knew himself. He knew that he didn't have to deal with it. He wasn't gonna deal with anything. He knew he could contain. He's saying you gotta know examine yourself and know what manner of man are you. If you know you need to be with a woman, if you know you need to have a wife, find you a wife. Go find a wife. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Where we at?
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 11.
I think we answered the question. But go ahead, read it.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lust.
Abstain from fleshly lust, right? Go ahead.
No,
which war against the soul.
Because you got to look deeper into what's really going on. Christ Yahweh Shai told Peter that Satan desires his soul. one way you got to look at it spiritually. How are you going to be spiritually affected? If it's not through the meats, okay, you understand not to eat the meats. If you understand about the outfits and you know how to dress modestly, or you know how to dress like a man, okay, so it's not going to be through the clothing. You understand you ain't got to smoke, you can't smoke weed, you can't smoke the cigarettes. Okay, so he's not trying, he's trying to do so many avenues to try to get you because it's concerning your soul. So you're thinking, well, it's all right, it's just a feeling. It's just myself. I ain't harming nobody, I ain't being a whoremonger, right? I ain't being no whoremonger.
But where's your mind at? That's the thing. I'm not whoremongering, but where's my mind in this whole they call masturbation a victimless crime. They try to call it a victimless crime. Yeah, but it's not. It's not a victimless crime because you're letting these spirits attach to you.
That's it on that.
Go. I got one more. Ecclesiastes 23 and verse 16. We about to go right.
Ecclesiastes chapter 23, verse 16.
Read that.
2 sorts of men multiply sin.
Okay, come on.
And the third will bring wrath.
The third will bring wrath. Go ahead.
A hot mind.
A what?
A hot mind.
Yeah, that old lustful, fleshly, carnal mind. Go ahead.
Is as a burning fire.
And
it will never be quenched till it be consumed.
Yeah. The mind can be like a burning fire, man. And it's not that fire, that lust that burns in some. Like the sister I was telling y'all about. She wasn't a sister, she was a nation, but her mind was just always on sex. I'm like, wow, that's all you think about? She said, yeah, for the most part. Ecclesiastes 23 and verse 16. Her mind, it can never be quenched, no matter what. No matter what. Her mind was just always there. Something sexual, it was like, damn. It's time to be serious now. Get to work, do this, do that. Sex was always in her brain. She couldn't really get too much done. Go ahead.
It will never be quenched till it be consumed.
Read on.
A fornicator in the body of his flesh.
A what?
A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he hath kindled a fire.
Yeah, you're gonna keep going and going until you listen. Masturbation is like a gateway drug. It's like a gateway drug. It's like the gateway to all the lust demons that are out there. Because, think about it. You masturbate a little bit, you get tired of that, then you gotta masturbate to porn, then you gotta masturbate to this, masturbate to that. Next thing you know, you're looking at gay porn. Next thing you know, you're looking at animal on woman porn. Next thing you know, you're doing the porn. It opens up a whole gateway to nothing but fire and burning. So we understand that?
Good.
All right, so hopefully we answered that question. For all the other questions online, go ahead and hold them until... What I'm going to do, I'm going to write your questions down that we didn't get to so we can start answering them, because a lot of y'all don't come back with y'all's questions. So while he's going through his class, I'm going to write down whatever questions y'all have, and then we'll try to get to them next week, next class. All right, so what we going through today, big bro? What's our topic? What we dealing with?
We're gonna be talking about lying. Lying. Why do we do it? Why do we lie?
Why does a person lie?
Fear.
Fear of what?
Just being caught up in whatever.
Okay. What else?
They just want to fit in.
Well, that's a good one. Inclusion. Damn. I didn't think of that. What else?
To hide themselves, hide the truth about who they are.
Right. Hide the truth about who they are. Yeah. They want to. It's about deception, right? It's about trying to fit in. Inclusion. Inclusion's a hell of a drug, man. I didn't even think about that. What else? I'm writing these questions down.
Embellishing on oneself or something.
You said what?
Embellishing on oneself or something.
But that's what they lie about.
Right.
But what's the reasons why somebody would just, like, what would be a reason for me to lie to you about something? About anything? What would be the reason for me to come to Jeremiah and say, you ask me a question, and I lie?
To test somebody too. Like, to tell people.
Conceit.
Right, deceive you. Deception.
Conceit.
Sometimes. Subtlety.
Want to be better than someone else.
So you're embellishing on like stories that you tell.
Just being conceited. Want to
Conceited.
look better.
Oh, you lie? Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. You embellish to make yourself look more than what you are.
Yeah, I had like 50. Shoot, I had like 100. Shoot, I had like 1,000.
Like, all right, perfect example. Like,
Naomi, come in here.
when I was in jail, right? It was this one cat. He was always talking about, yeah, man. When I was out there, I had everything, man. I got so much money, and I got this, and I got that. So I used to ask him, like, bro, why you still in here? Why ain't nobody come to get you or put the money on your book and no bail you out? But then I actually ran into him in the world. Man, he ain't had none of that. You know what I'm saying? So 50 just being fictitious, man. Last night.
Right. So why do people in the truth lie? That's the question. Let's deal with. We know that they gonna lie out there. They in jail. That's the only way to get by.
To make excuses of why they can or cannot do something.
Excuses.
Damn.
So talk.
Right. What else? What was it about this man that he didn't do? I'm trying to lead y'all to the scripture.
Ecclesiasticus 39:1.
Khan, we just read that.
Examine himself.
Right.
Well, he examined himself and he examined that he wanted to lie about something. He was like, you know what? I'm going to leave that part out and I'm going to say it this way so it comes off this way. Here, let's go to the scripture. Go to Colossians chapter 3, verse 9.
Hey, I'm about to say that.
You about to say it.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
You ain't lying, right? You ain't lying, are you? You ain't lying to us, are you?
I said 10,000 times brighter than the sun. God.
Tell everybody I'm alive, but I'm not lying.
Bring it out.
Colossians chapter 3.
Yeah, 3 verse 9.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 9.
Go ahead.
Lie not one to another.
See, the reason, the scripture is telling you, plain out, not to lie. We as Hebrew Israelites should know not to lie to each other, right?
God.
As brothers and sisters, as family members. Shit, I look at everybody as a family now, you know?
Of course. God.
You're my brother, you're my sister. You know what I mean? My brother's kids those are my nephews and nieces. You know? So the scripture, we should not lie one to another. Because if we're still lying, if we still gotta like hide the truth, or we gotta hide the facts about something, what are we doing? Read.
Come, seeing that ye have put off the old man.
You still haven't put off the old man.
Good.
Instead of being Ma'aika Allah, he who is like the Most High, you still that nigga Jerome. Instead of being what's a good Shara. Instead of you being Shara, the princess, right? Instead of you being the princess, you still Shaniqua, right? Still loudmouth and boisterous and disrespectful. You haven't put off the old man.
God.